But someone said Shannon Sharpe don't mess with black women.
Mm-hmm. What did he say? Mm-hmm. Before you go any further, can I say this?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
My grandmother told me something when I was a little boy. She said, boy, never chase a lie.
Boy, you must think I'm boo-boo.
I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
Come on, Dad.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not going to act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends.
I only heard from 2 teams. Guess what the 2 teams that called me, Ocho, say, what's your phone number? Where you gonna be?
Who that?
Shut the fuck up. Next door. Cincinnati Bengals was one. She got a robe on. She said, well, come on back here. I want to talk to you. I told my homeboy, I said, Bucket, he got a Jet. He grabbed a Jet magazine. So we about 5 minutes in, I done took my necklace off and set my, bracelet, something rolling.
He was 50 and she was 19.
56, 54.
54 and she was 19 years old.
So listen, and crafted to falsely portray a consensual act as non-consensual. So yes, whatever they were doing at the time, according to Shannon Sharpe, it was consensual, but she's looking at it a different way.
But that's not against the law because she was of age. So even though she was 19, that's not against the law.
Y'all, Shannon Sharpe is big mad right now. Monique recently clowned him during her comedy show. And let's just say she did not hold back. She threw shade straight at his ongoing legal mess with that OnlyFans model who's suing him for $50 million. Yeah, $50 million. And guess what? The clip of Monique roasting him, it blew up online. Everybody's watching it. But behind the scenes, Shannon is not laughing. Word is he's upset, not just at the joke, but because he really thought his famous friends would ride for him. Instead, they're letting him get roasted publicly.
This dating thing. Because it's different now than when you and I.
It's different, baby. I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine.
Do you have 3 kids?
3.
Same woman?
No.
How many women?
3.
Damn.
Yeah.
You were getting after it.
I was.
But here's the part that's got the internet dragging him instead of Monique. She actually warned him months ago. That's right, on his own show, Club Shay Shay, Monique tried to put him on game. She told him to stop going after young girls who were clearly only interested in his money. But Shannon didn't take it seriously. He laughed. He brushed it off. He thought it couldn't happen to him. Now, here we are.
And be able to say some of the things that you were saying.
What was I saying, Ocho? What was I saying? I ain't hear.
You was like, you gonna take this. I'm just saying, I ain't never heard you talk like that, huh? Now, what we do got to work on is ain't nothing wrong with your hip, but we got to work on your cardio because you was breathing heavy. When you lift weights, get the treadmill first.
Ocho, real talk, though, Ocho, you boy. Hey, Ocho, I was already knee deep for about 25.
Right.
His name is trending for all the wrong reasons. His image is taking hit after hit, and even if he beats this lawsuit in court, it doesn't mean everything's magically fixed. His $100 million podcast deal? On pause. Sponsors? Pulling away. His crew? Quiet. It's like the walls are closing in, and fast. So now folks are asking the real questions. What exactly did Monique say that's got Shannon so pressed? And more importantly, why is he mad at her when she was the one trying to help him avoid all of this in the first place? Let's break it all the way down. So what did Monique actually say about Shannon now that everything she warned him about has come true? And why is he so mad at her when she's literally the one who tried to save him from this mess? During her comedy set, Monique didn't hold back. She made it clear Shannon had no business dating younger women, saying he didn't need a 26-year-old or even a 36-year-old.
You was also on the Monique show.
Yeah.
What's it like working? Because Monique, you know, loud, she talks, she's difficult to work with. I had on the show and she was great.
She ain't difficult to work with. She just ain't to be played with. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Monique is she's gonna stand up for what she believes in. She's not finna let you talk to her crazy. You're not finna be making demands. It's like she a boss.
Yes.
And it's the difference between being a boss and an employee.
You're right.
When you hire Monique, you get the whole Monique.
Right.
But you don't get to tell her what to do.
Right.
And that's another conflict that comedians have. Sometimes they hire us to talk, and then they don't want to hear. They think they can control what we're gonna say and when we're gonna say it. It don't work like that.
It don't work like that.
Absolutely.
While the rest of the world might have been shocked to hear Shannon Sharpe was being sued for SA, Monique wasn't surprised at all. She had already warned him that something like this could happen if he kept messing with young women who weren't with him for the right reasons. But instead of taking her advice, Shannon brushed it off and kept doing what he wanted. Once the situation with the OnlyFans model blew up, fans were quick to circle back and ask, what does Monique have to say now? Well, she finally broke her silence while performing on Cat Williams' Heaven on Earth comedy tour. On stage, she reminded everyone she tried to school Shannon before things got out of hand. But he didn't want to listen. Her energy made it crystal clear. Shannon had no one to blame but himself. According to Monique, she told him flat out to stop chasing after these girls, especially ones not on his level. She even said, God, yes, I told Sharpe leave that white alone, making it obvious she saw this coming a mile away.
This dating thing. Because it's Mo is different now than when you and I.
It's different, baby. I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
And just for added context, a clip from her February 2024 Club Shay Shay interview started making rounds again once the lawsuit hit the headlines. In that interview, she told Shannon directly that dating girls half his age or younger wasn't the move. Instead, she advised him to find a woman closer to his own age, someone who wasn't looking to use him for clout or cash. Looking back now, it's clear she was trying to protect him, even when he didn't want to hear it. Monique has always been one of those celebrities people either love or side-eye. Some fans like her for her raw, unfiltered honesty, while others say she can come off way too harsh or even self-righteous. But when it comes to this whole Shannon Sharpe mess, even her usual critics are admitting she was absolutely right. In that Club Shay Shay interview, she didn't beat around the bush. She warned Shannon straight up that his lifestyle and his taste in women could come back to haunt him. And what did he do? He laughed it off, sat there giggling, while she tried to drop real wisdom, and then kept chasing after OnlyFans models like nothing could touch him. Fast forward to now, Shannon's out of his ESPN job, he's being sued for $50 million, and his name is all over the blogs. And guess what? That old Monique interview is making the rounds again. Because people are saying she saw all the red flags long before anyone else did. One fan online said, Monique might crack jokes, but she never lies, adding that Shannon should have taken her seriously instead of laughing. Another fan pointed out that this wasn't even the first time someone tried to check Shannon about his choices. They noted he had at least 3 guests on Club Shay Shay, Cat Williams, Monique, and Lil Yachty, all bringing up his messy dating history.
But someone said Shannon Sharpe don't mess with black women.
What did he say?
Before you go any further, can I say this?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
My grandmother told me something when I was a little boy. She said, boy, never chase a lie.
Boy, you must think I'm boo.
Real black men, they like them in all shapes and sizes, all complexions. It is these new Negroes that get into she gotta be this way, she gotta be that way. But real black men, if you can bake a pound cake naked,
bruh. You think you can get out here and be like Danny's big ass? Go knock yourself out.
I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
Come on, Dad.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends.
Even with all this drama, it seems Shannon still hasn't learned. According to sources close to him, he was livid after seeing Monique joke about him during her recent comedy show. Apparently, he felt like she was kicking him while he was down. Insiders say he expected his famous friends to defend him, but that didn't happen. Hardly anyone stepped up to vouch for him, and that silence, it's speaking loud. Still, the public isn't exactly throwing Shannon a pity party. To a lot of people, this lawsuit just feels like the final straw in a long list of reckless moves. He's been caught up in drama for years, and now the receipts are piling up. One clip that recently resurfaced shows Shannon losing it during an episode of Nightcap. While they were discussing the 2025 NFL Draft, he suddenly looked off camera and snapped. He yelled for someone to shut the F up and went off about people guessing which teams called him, even demanding to know their phone numbers and locations. The whole moment went viral and only added fuel to the fire.
I only heard from 2 teams. Guess what the 2 teams that called me, Ocho, say, what's your phone number, where you gonna be?
Who that?
Shut the fuck up. Next door. Cincinnati Bengals was one.
And be able to say some of the things that you were saying.
What was I saying, Ocho? Ocho, what was I saying? I ain't hear.
You was like, you gonna take this. I'm just saying, I ain't never heard you talk like that, Now, what we do got to work on is ain't nothing wrong with your hip, but we got to work on your cardio because you was breathing heavy. When you lift weights, hit
Ocho,
the
but you
treadmill
got,
first.
Ocho, real talk, though, Ocho, your boy, hey, Ocho, I was already knee deep for about 25.
Right.
And if you thought the lawsuit was bad, it gets worse. Shannon Sharpe is catching even more heat after saying he wouldn't let his daughters spend more than $30,000 on their weddings. Yet this is the same man who reportedly offered that OnlyFans model $10 million to keep quiet and not file a lawsuit. But when it comes to his own daughters, suddenly there's a budget cap.
Because listen, and now you don't even know I'm planting the seed right now. I keep asking you for a reason now.
Yeah, but Ocho, here's the thing, Ocho. Normally, the father, I got 2 daughters.
Yeah.
They already know. My oldest already say, oh, if you think my daddy gonna pay X, Y, and Z, that ain't happen. Destination wedding if you want to. Okay.
He made those comments in another episode of Nightcap during a conversation with Ocho Cinco about how much they'd be willing to spend on their kids' weddings. Shannon made it clear, $30K max, and even joked that they could just serve spaghetti and fried fish instead of anything fancy.
We going right to the Bahamas. We ain't going there. I mean, that's a 30-minute flight.
Hey, I gave my daughters a budget. You got a budget. I don't get whatever you do after that.
What number? I mean, I don't want to be in your business, but what number you said?
30,000.
Okay, so you can have a wedding with 30,000.
I don't know what you can have. I ain't the one getting married. I don't give a damn. Hey, they better go get one of them. Hey, y'all from the South, y'all know about that fried catfish and spaghetti plate. Hey, I know somebody hooked that thing right on up. What they charge by the plate? $10.50 a head. Spaghetti, fried catfish, a piece of cornbread, and a styrofoam cup of sweet tea. That's all you're getting. Man, I'm not finna go. Hey.
Of course, the internet was not here for that. Fans instantly started dragging him, especially after those leaked texts surfaced where he admitted the OnlyFans model was charging him $25K for each cheek. One fan didn't hold back, saying this whole situation just exposed how hypocritical Shannon really is. Willing to spend millions on a woman he barely knew, but can't offer his own daughters more than $30K for one of the biggest days of their lives. But the story doesn't stop there. It gets even messier. Now fans are calling out what they believe was a racial fetish dynamic between Shannon and the OnlyFans model, Gabriella. Leaked messages from her included disturbing racially charged language, with one message where she said she wanted Shannon to put a big black baby in her. Thing is, none of Shannon's replies were included in that leak, and a lot of people believe those comments didn't come from Gabriella naturally. They think she was repeating what he had already said to her.
She said, "You better get used to me, because after you put that big black baby in me, you ain't never getting rid of me." And I think that was the text message that scared Shannon Sharpe. When Shannon got that text message, when she said, "After you put that big black baby in me, you ain't never getting rid of me," that's when he knew he was dealing with a psycho. And I think from that point forward, he started trying to separate, failing to realize that you didn't do this to no sister. You did this to a privileged white girl. OnlyFans model or not, she is a privileged white girl.
And just one more thing about Mr. Sharpe. Not so sharp, clearly. It is my theory, just my opinion, my theory, not fact, my opinion. I think all of this RACE rhetoric that was in those text messages started with him. It started with him. It's becoming more and more clear to me, in my opinion, that he has a race fetish. He has a fetish for that type of dynamic. Think about it. This was a 19-year-old white woman when he met her. I don't know any 19-year-old white woman that's running around hollering about a big black baby and baby gravy. Shannon was a 54-year-old big black grown man from the backwoods of Georgia.
Thing is, none of Shannon's replies were included in that leak. And a lot of people believe those comments didn't come from Gabriella naturally. They think she was repeating what he had already said to her. People are saying that kind of language had to start somewhere, and it started with him.
Big black babies, he probably seen a few in his day. Born in the backwoods of Georgia where he grew up with his grandma and all the other folks. But I just don't think that came from her. Now, is she repeating it back in those text messages? Yes, that's why he released her messages, not his. Peep that. Okay, we haven't seen what his responses was, and I guarantee you, when they post those messages, y'all gonna see. All of that race started with him. It's a fetish, and he could only play that kind of stuff out with a young girl. He couldn't, like Monique was trying to tell him, get an older gal. Older gal ain't going for that. They was going to immediately know he was a freak and a weirdo. A 19-year-old don't know no better. That's why she repeated it back to him, because he said it to her first. Older men, that's why they tend to want to be with younger women. They're more impressionable. They can mold them. They can shape them to be what they want them to be. Do what they want them to do. You let him come to a 40 or 50-year-old woman talking about put a big black baby and baby gravy. We gonna be looking like, what's wrong with you?
The take online is that older men often go for younger women because they're easier to influence. They're more impressionable, easier to mold, and less likely to push back when things get weird. And the example fans keep bringing up is this. If Shannon had tried saying something like, put a big black baby in me, or baby gravy, to a grown 40 or 50-year-old woman, she would have looked at him like he lost his damn mind. But with a 19-year-old, she went along with it. That's why people believe Gabriella only echoed it, because Shannon said it first.
He was 50 and she was 19.
56. 54.
54 and she was 19 years old.
So listen, and crafted to falsely portray a consensual act as non-consensual. So yes, whatever they were doing at the time, according to Shannon Sharpe, it was consensual, but she's looking at it a different way.
But that's not against the law because she was of age. So even though she was 19, that's not against the law.
Meanwhile, more and more clips are surfacing showing Shannon's been off when it comes to women for a while. One viral clip shows him admitting he wanted a woman so badly that he literally paid for her divorce because he believed she was the one. And yet this is the same man putting his daughter on a tight budget for her own wedding.
Nah, I was once dating this chick, right, Skip, and she was married, but she was getting a divorce. I knew I wanted her. I said, you know what? I'll pay for the divorce because I believe she was the one. That's what I did. I said, why you arguing about this? He wouldn't sign the papers. I said, why you arguing about this little bit of money? I gave her the money, filed the divorce because I believe. I keep it 100 with y'all here, Skip, but I did that.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any weirder, there's a viral clip making the rounds where Shannon Sharpe tells a story that left even Deion Sanders completely speechless. The story was graphic, bizarre, and honestly, had folks wondering why he thought it was a good idea to share it in the first place. Right after dropping that wild story, the group on the show burst into laughter. But Shannon wasn't done. He doubled down with more commentary that had viewers either cringing or clocking out.
I'm with it. I am.
A bunch of fans in the comments said this was the exact reason they stopped watching Shannon and Ocho Cinco's show. People were just over hearing Shannon's awkward and overly detailed intimate stories, especially coming from a man pushing 60. He was giving uncle who overshares at family functions, and viewers weren't having it. Meanwhile, the backlash isn't just coming from fans. People in the industry were starting to speak out too. Dr. Umar was one of the names who publicly called Shannon out. He said that even if this lawsuit ends up being a shakedown, Shannon had no business getting involved with someone as young as 19. He should have seen the red flags, especially when Gabriella allegedly refused to sign an NDA. Dr. Umar didn't mince words, saying that with everything going on these days, you'd think Shannon, or any black male celebrity, would be more responsible about who they deal with.
Lashes also go to Shannon Sharpe. because Shannon Sharpe on national television said he didn't even want to go to a HBCU. He wanted to go to a PWI. And every time celebrities try to do something good, black people want to beat them up. I beg your pardon, Shannon Sharpe. I know that you don't date black women. You have no loyalty to black women. Now you want to tell the world you have no loyalty to the HBCU. If you didn't want to go to Savannah State, you keep that to yourself, you Negropean. You don't tell the whole world that you didn't want to go to a HBCU and then try to chide the black community for asking Deion Sanders to have a little commitment.
So here's what we know. According to Gabriela Zuniga, she first met Shannon at a gym in Los Angeles back in 2023. Shannon later claimed that he did in fact try to present her with an NDA, a basic non-disclosure agreement that most celebrities use to protect themselves. But reports say Gabriela refused to sign it, and that right there should have been his wake-up call. She was 19. He's a grown man, a public figure, and the power imbalance was obvious from the start. The fact that she didn't want to sign anything should have made him walk away immediately. But Shannon didn't back off because, let's be real, Gabriela fits his type. It's no secret among fans that Unc has a preference for white women. And not just any white women, very skinny ones. That became more clear when pictures of Gabriela started circulating online. People pointed out that she looked extremely petite. So petite, in fact, that some said she resembled a young teen more than a grown woman. Not a good look.
So you have 3 kids?
3.
Same woman?
No.
How many women?
3.
Damn.
Yeah.
You were getting after it.
I was.
And then what happened? You found out what condoms were?
Yeah, it was, whew.
What?
Boy, hey, every time I hear Shannon, I'm pregnant. I was like, and two Bruce. But,
no.
And then came another disturbing claim. According to Gabriela, Shannon allegedly told her that if she lost enough weight for him, he'd buy her some artificial breasts. The internet couldn't believe it. She was already tiny, no curves, no chest, nothing. So why was he asking her to even lose more weight? The only conclusion people could draw was that Shannon's taste seemed to lean toward the pale, extra-thin aesthetic, and it was starting to raise some serious eyebrows. At this point, fans aren't exactly throwing sympathy Shannon's way. A lot, especially since she tried to help him before things got messy. She gave him real advice on Club Shay Shay, warned him directly about the dangers of messing with young women who might not have his best interests at heart. But now that it's all blowing up in his face, people are saying this is just him dealing with the consequences of his own choices. And judging by the latest reports, those consequences might hit hard. Gabriela is demanding $50 million in damages, and people are already asking if Shannon even has that kind of money. Celebrity Net Worth puts his net worth at around $30 million. During his NFL career, he earned roughly $22.5 million total, with his biggest check being $5 million from the Baltimore Ravens as part of a 4-year, $13.8 million deal. These days, Shannon reportedly brings in about $10 million a year from a mix of podcast revenue and brand deals, TV appearances, and sales from his luxury cognac line, Le Portier. Still, with even all that, he's behind his First Take co-host Stephen A. Smith, whose net worth is sitting at around $45 million. Stephen A. actually made headlines recently for locking in a massive 5-year, $100 million deal, making him one of the highest-paid voices in all of sports, second only to Tom Brady. When asked about the rumor that he was aiming for that kind of money, Stephen A. didn't deny it. He said it wasn't false and made it clear he wants as much as he can get because, in his words, he's a capitalist. He said people should just look at the industry, check the numbers, check the ratings, check the revenue, and compare what others are pulling in to what he delivers. Now here's the kicker. Shannon Sharpe was this close to getting his own $100 million deal too, until the lawsuit hit. Right before Gabriela filed her complaint, Shannon was deep in talks for a mega media deal that would have included all of his Shay Shay Media episodes, Club Shay Shay, Nightcap with Chad Johnson, Club 520 podcast, The Bubba Dub Show, and Humble Baddies. On April 18th, just 3 days before the lawsuit was made public, Front Office Sports reported that Shannon was about to sign a deal reportedly worth more than $100 million. But now, that deal is officially on hold, and if it falls through, it'll be one of the biggest financial losses of his career.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys.
And here's the thing, the lawsuit isn't even settled yet. If Shannon loses, people are wondering whether he's actually made enough over the years to cover a $50 million payout. To be fair, even if the case doesn't go Gabriella's way, that doesn't mean she'll walk away with the full amount. Civil cases, especially those involving SA, are notoriously hard to win. A lot depends on how clearly the court sees the difference between what was consensual and what crossed the line. So there's also a very real chance that Shannon won't be found liable at all. He could end up walking out of court without owing Gabriella a dime. But even if he does beat this case legally, the damage to his reputation is already done. The texts, the audio clips, the jokes, the headlines, it's all out there. And the public doesn't forget that quickly. But now pretty much everyone has seen the leaked text and heard that disturbing audio clip of Shannon threatening Gabriella. In one recording, you can clearly hear him making a chilling statement that had social media in shambles.
Anything I say, you're just gonna get mad at and you're just gonna hang up on me, so I feel like...
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a bitch to me now, so.
I don't want to be... Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do.
And that's the thing, even if Shannon walks away from this lawsuit legally untouched, it won't change what people now know about how he acts behind the scenes. This whole situation stopped being just about legal guilt or innocence a long time ago. It's about image, and that's where the real damage is hitting. Let's be real, companies like Disney, which owns ESPN, don't care what the judge says if your name is trending for all the wrong reasons. They don't want to deal with bad press or social backlash. Public perception is everything, and right now, Shannon Sharpe is looking like a major liability. Even if the court says he's clear, brands are going to think twice before attaching themselves to that kind of drama. Now sure, it's possible Shannon could bounce back. He's got a huge following, and we all know audiences love a good redemption story, but let's not pretend it'll be easy. That path just got a lot steeper because of his own choices. He ignored Monique, he ignored Cat Williams, he kept people around who didn't have his best interest at heart. And when he dove headfirst into a relationship with a 19-year-old OnlyFans model, not just with a massive age gap, but also with a weird power dynamic and a clear racial fetish that came to light.
He's doing all this curling. Listen. Go ahead if you want. go ahead if you want. Yeah, I see you doing your dips and all that. Go ahead. I know you on set number 8. Go ahead.
And let's be honest, Disney doesn't want that kind of baggage on their brand. Not now, not ever. So here's the real question. Can Shannon Sharpe actually recover from this? Or has he already done too much damage? And when it comes to Monique, does he really get to be mad that she's cracking jokes now when she literally warned him and he laughed it off? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you're into deep dives on celebrity scandals and Hollywood drama, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. We've got plenty more coming your way.